deacons, prophets, sages, Leviticus, laws to pause, find phrases, turning them corners, your spiritual mazes. Genesis to Revelation, so divine. Flip them scripts, endless grace you'll find. Psalms singing sweet, unbroken lines, hitting that rhythm, wordplay refined. Anybody in here blessed? Anybody in here blessed? Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? Wake up early, the dawn's light shimmers. Spiritual breakfast, soul food dinners. Isaiah's vision, Ezekiel's figures. Walk through the fire, no one limbers. Kings and judges, prophets profound, plowing the word, no mythical ground. Verse after verse, wisdom's bound. Heavenly soundtrack, soul serving sound. Anybody in here blessed? Anybody in here blessed? Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? No shortcuts, all divine routes. Listen to the whispers, no room for doubt. Parables drop stronger than gold faucets. Souls hydrated from divine prophets. Study the book, change perspectives. Carefully crafted, not too subjective. A year to reflect, learning perfect. Patterns of grace that time can't deflect. Old Testament drops deep and so real. Kings and warriors, covenant seals. Split that Red Sea, divine reveal. Commandments written, not made of steel. Bethlehem birth to cross on the hill. Unfolding the never blessings, pastor with skill. Scripture flip, every verse fulfilled.
Through the word, every verse, every chapter, nothing unheard. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Yo, online sermons, holy vibes delivered, spreading light, got the sinners reconsidered. Psalm to psalm, man's like a holy DJ, flipping through scripture, repping the Yahweh. Your emotes in the chat, praising the message, flat cap on point, teaching eternal lessons. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick, raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick. Virtual congregation, united in devotion. 1 year strong, a spiritual promotion. He's a life coach with divine instructions. Streaming holiness, no room for interruption. Flat cap changed the game, new pastoral fame. Virtual shepherd, he's embracing the mainframe. In the comments, affirmatives and amens. With each Goliath tackled, faith extend. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Yo, online sermons, holy vibes delivered, spreading light, got the sinners reconsidered. Psalm to psalm, man's like a holy DJ, flipping through scripture, repping the Yahweh. Your emotes in the chat, praising the message, flat cap on point, teaching eternal lessons. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick, raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick. Virtual congregation, united in devotion. 1 year strong, a spiritual promotion. He's a life coach with divine instructions. Streaming holiness, no room for interruption. Flat cap changed the game, new pastoral fame. Virtual shepherd, he's embracing the mainframe. In the comments, affirmatives and amens. With each Goliath tackled, faith extend. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. 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 Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick, raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. So, I've got a little mug today. I just finishing up a little bit of leftover matcha. When I was getting my tea ready this morning, I thought I'm gonna grab the matcha that's left over, reheat it. So, matcha with coconut milk in it. Really, really good. So I made this, I don't know, a couple of days ago. This is what was left over, and I just thought this morning, I said, that's what I want. So, and then I got my regular tea after that. All right, Andy, can you remind me again, if you're so inclined, what surgery you have today, and we can pray for you. I think you may have mentioned it a while back, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you didn't. But you have surgery tomorrow. I'd love to be in prayer for you, Andy. So, yeah, if you'd like to share more. Actually, I'm wearing my pray shirt today. Isn't that fun? Okay. Yeah, I like how you phrase that. That's an interesting way to phrase that. Okay. Can't remember how to spell the actual procedure. Yeah, that's okay. I know what all of that is. It is not a high risk because it's commonplace. So whoever's doing it, hopefully, will have done this multiple times, and pray your recovery will be good. Yeah. Why not go with the funny way? I like that. That's hilarious. I'm gonna have to tell my mom. I'm gonna have to tell my wife about that phrasing of it. I bet she'll get a kick out of it. She labor and delivery nurse by trade. Yeah, laparoscopic surgery. You're getting the robot. Ooh, interesting. That should hopefully make and the laparoscopic should hopefully make surgery a whole lot easier. You usually say yeeting the uterus. I don't think she'd quite get the yeeting, but the evicting, she will probably think that's pretty funny. Well, let me just pray for that, Andy. God, we just lift up our friends and those in need to you, and so we're lifting up Andy as she's going to go in for this procedure. May you have everything prepared so that everything goes well. May the doctor, the physician, all of the staff, the anesthesia, the nurses who will provide care have all of their things prepared. May their minds be ready. May their bodies be rested, and may they do their very best. May her body respond. May all anxiety, all fear be removed. May your peace just be with her as she goes into this, and may her recovery be swift. God, we just thank you for all of the knowledge you've given doctors and all of the care that you've put in the hearts of nurses to take care of patients. So we're just praying that your hands will be upon her as she goes in for this and afterwards in recovery. God, we just pray this and we ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen. You have a bicornuate or two-chamber uterus. So, whoa! Do not know that I've heard of that. My wife probably has, but that's not something I've heard of. Okay. I will do that later. So I got it here this morning. Was checking on the fish stream. And nothing was running on the fish stream. And then the computer totally froze, no mouse, couldn't do anything. So I had to do a hard shutdown and a hard restart. So probably some updates I need to do, and then we'll get the fish stream up and going. So, yeah, Andy, if you're in, and I don't know when you'll be back, if you have recovery, but if you are able to just send a message next week sometime on how you're doing. If you're not able to be here, if you can, just DM or whatever and just say you're doing well. That way we can share afterwards how everything's going. So, Andy, you should have also asked for prayer for patience for your boyfriend as he is caring for you after surgery. Yes. Yeah, yeah. And like I said, no rush on that. I don't want you to feel that. And then, I'm not streaming on the weekend, so I may or may not see it. I mean, and plus I wouldn't be able to share it. And I don't know if you're in my Discord or not. But anyway, I'd just love to hear how you're doing afterwards. So, your boyfriend for caring for you. Yep. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do that. God, we're just going to pray for Andy's boyfriend as he cares. May you give him patience and endurance, and may he just be blessed in that time of serving. May his heart just be fully in it, not out of obligation, but out of love, out of patience, out of grace, out of all of those things that bind us together with other people. May it be a real time of him pulling on all those things as to why he's together with Andy, and just bind and knit his heart together as he serves her and takes care of her. We just pray that, and if there's anything that gets in the way and anything that he's in need of, may you take care of that and bless him. We just pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. Thanks for sharing that, Andy. Of all the kinds of things that people might have surgery for, I know that is a sensitive one, and so I appreciate you sharing that. I really do. I am, I believe. I'm just quiet. Yeah. Hey, Papsio, welcome in, my friend. I was thinking, Papsio, I need to get you on my podcast. Would you be up for being on my podcast over at the Church Digital and chatting about things? I know we haven't chatted so much offline. We message back and forth. I'm on your stream not very often. You're just on when I'm busy doing other things. But Papsio, would you be up? Let me know. We could try to work something out with that, because I'd love to. I'm just like trying to get as much variety of things out there, and you're streaming, DDR, and I don't know anybody else that's doing dance out there, so that'd be fun to have you on talking about that. Andy, it's not a big deal for me. It will improve your life. Good. I'm glad. Yeah, we'll have to work something out. Okay, I will direct message you. And we'll try to work something out. I know I've got ukulele next week, and I'll be gone the first half of next week at my daughter's house, so I will not be planning any extra streams. I will not actually be gaming on Monday next week. So, but we'll message next week and try to plan something for the week after, if that works. Oh, it's controversial in most Christian circles, but it will be one of the best moves you can take for yourself. Oh, yeah, I totally understand. Like, if you're going to that point, there are health reasons to do it. And I really don't think it should be controversial. Well, you know what? That just leads into what we're talking about today, or plan to, is caring for your body. Your body is the temple of God. And so that's where some of those arguments lie. So it does fit into that. Let me do this a minute. Let me show you the fish and all of that. And if you haven't been here in a while, we got baby birds. Oh, I did not. Let me find that a second, and I can.
Streaming life by the reeds.
There we go.
Fish pond calm and glassy clear.
We got baby birds.
Live all right from you. Dapper man with Saxon hand plays tunes by his quiet land.
Yeah, I can see that some people will. We can talk in regards to other things in that way too. Did it just freeze? No, they're just moving slowly. They're just pretty still. All right. So, yep, I got the baby birds. Mom shows up every so often. I put a pretty cool clip up yesterday of Mom feeding them. I thought it was pretty cool. They're not yet ready to fly. I don't know how quick that'll be. Maybe a week would be my guess. So, upper right, beautiful sunrise today. Look at that. Gorgeous, gorgeous. The pond looking good. Waiwas a little bit active today. Rearranging Squidward's house, knocked over per usual, and koi swimming quite nicely there. So, all right. Yeah, it depends on what your church tradition is on how you view different things within the body. So there are some who view issues with life being in the blood, that you should not have transfusions. You shouldn't get blood put into you. You shouldn't donate blood. They're very averse to that because of a couple of passages that talk about life being in the blood. So we should not violate life being in the blood and some things like that. I don't think that's really what we need to do. There are some who are opposed to organ transplants and things like that. And we can get it. And I don't want to get into controversial things, so I don't want to talk about abortion. I'm just saying I don't want to address that issue. I'm not going to solve that. Wherever you are at with that, if you would like a conversation, there are other people better at that conversation than I am, and I don't want to cause any arguments or disagreements either. But as far as caring for yourself and how do you care for your own body, that is where we're going to try to go today. So, okay, so let me get this picked here. Oh, let me switch screens. I don't need you to see that. Okay. I didn't do it. Oh, that's weird. Huh. All right, gonna have to open the whole thing. I don't know why it does this sometimes. Sometimes I can click on it from just the little title, and sometimes I have to open it fully. Andy, how could you do this to yourself and alter what God has made like that? God made you this way. What if you meet someone in a few years and you want a baby with them? Darling, I'm 35 and I don't want a baby now. And I'm getting old to have a baby. Well, also with the way that is, I bet there are serious health risks for a baby to be in that circumstance, and probably serious health risks for you if you were to get pregnant, Andy. I would just guess that, as that's not a normal circumstance. So the other issue with that kind of thinking is that there are, and I know this is totally different, so I don't mean anything against anyone whose views might be different, but there are lots of kids who are in foster care. There are lots of kids who need adopted, and there are plenty of kids that you could have a kid without having a biological kid. So I'm not saying anything against it, but I'm just saying there are other ways to have relationships and have children without being, and there are people that struggle with fertility. So that's why I'm saying I'm not trying to say anything against the people who want to, but I do think there's other ways to have kids and have family. So, in fact, all of my kids are probably leaning 50-50 of would they have their own kids or would they adopt, and they're probably closer leaning towards they would rather adopt than have their own kids. You're also in a committed relationship with a person who you plan to marry who is also sterilized. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's funny how people think they know you best. Yes, and then the imposing their opinions of Scripture on things that you should look at. Supersonic Cat Jam. Yeah, many other ways. Yeah, so many other ways to have kids. Yeah. I don't know if I've shared this very often on stream. I know I have before. My wife and I went through the process of going to adopt a kid. We did not end up actually adopting the child. It was a 16-year-old who was going to have a baby, and the life expectancy we knew to start with was 3 years. 3 months to 3 years was life expectancy. And then when we went through the whole thing, met with mom, all of that, and then when she was born, the doctor said 3 days was the life expectancy, and 16-year-old mom said, what kind of mom am I if I can't care for my child for 3 days? So mom pulled back from the adoption, And turns out it was 3 months. Turns out it was 3 months. But it was such a blessing to our family. It was a blessing to her family, even without having going through and making the adoption happen. So I think that's one of those things that is why so many of my kids are all thinking in lines of that. Boyfriend has 2 children from a previous relationship already. He has kids. Okay, that clears some stuff up. I wasn't trying to jump to conclusions, but you don't want kids of your own. You have 3 nephews who you love like your own. You're already set. Yeah. So let's go ahead and jump over to. This was not planned in any way from the standpoint of I knew we were going to talk about this, and I knew you were going through this circumstance. None of that. So I just feel like, wow, what an interesting day for you to be here and to have this connected. So I hope that this is a blessing for you, Andy, when people are thinking about, hey, yeah, funny ironies. I know. Okay, so I was talking about our body as a temple. Okay, there it is, 1 Corinthians. So that's the one that we go to. Let's go full chapter. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Oh, okay. So this starts out with lawsuits among believers, which, hey, that's not a thing that we should be doing. Wouldn't you rather have the loss of what someone did to take advantage of you, even if they're a believer, for the sake of the kingdom, so that you're not going in front of the Gentiles, you're not going into the court system and putting it on display so that the world can watch Christians fight? That's part of what this is coming out of. Yeah. Why not rather be wronged? Why not rather be cheated? Instead, you yourselves cheat and do wrong. You do this to your brothers and sisters. So that's why this is why I go to the full context. So we're in a context of how we are mistreating one another in the body of Christ. That's before we get to this whole section here. Yes. So I have the right to do anything, you say, but not everything is beneficial. So this is a claim that Christians, I think, today still say. I have the right to do anything. Not everything is beneficial. I have the right to do anything, but I will not be mastered by anything. So, I don't want to be a master. I have the right to do anything. So there's nothing wrong with drinking. Yeah, but I don't want to be mastered by alcohol. I don't want alcohol to rule my life. The Bible doesn't necessarily directly say that cocaine is, something you shouldn't do. Doesn't directly say that. So therefore, I'm just picking on this as a weird example. Not that I've ever heard anyone make this argument. So I can do cocaine just a wee little bit. Yeah, until I get addicted, and then it rules my life and it ruins my life. So yeah, I could have the freedom to make an argument, but is it going to be beneficial? This is where I go to 2 different phrases over and over again. Rather than is it right, is it wrong, I ask, is it wise, is it beneficial? What benefit is there for me in doing something? And that's where I go. I don't go to, is it legal? Is it illegal? Well, if something's illegal, is it beneficial for me to partake in it? No, because it's illegal. If it's made illegal and it's something that is part of my Christian practice, well, then we have a different point. So I'm not talking about that. For instance, I said cocaine earlier. Most people aren't going to cocaine because they think there's health benefits of some kind. But some people will go to, there's medicinal uses for marijuana. What if it's illegal? Should I use it? What if it's not illegal? Should I use it? Why am I using it? Am I using it for recreation, or am I using it to, in some way, take anxiety or pain management or any of those things? What's my purpose? Is it beneficial? Then perhaps it's okay. Is it wise? Well, even if it's beneficial, maybe it's not wise. So here's how you could think through some of that. And I'm not advocating. I'm just trying to think through a process here. So if you disagree with me, that's okay. I'm not trying to advocate for this. I'm trying to think through how you would say, is this beneficial for me? So if I know that inhaling any kind of smoke is going to be damaging to my lungs, then perhaps I don't smoke. Maybe I do gummies, because gummies are going to go into the stomach. It's going to give me, and maybe in that regard, I don't go to the THC, I go to the CBD, and I'm getting the benefits. Okay, so you see how I can process through that and look for what's beneficial for my body and not what is non-beneficial for me. And I'm not saying you couldn't say THC could be beneficial from anxiety relief, some other things. I know that they were trying to figure out the health benefits of it, and people may have more knowledge than I do. I'm simply trying to pose a circumstance of how you process through. Is this beneficial for me? Do I have the right to do it? Not the right question. Is it beneficial? So, supersonic. But some you can't control, like other decisions and secondhand smoke. Right. Yep, you can't control everything. So, I'm not talking about. Well, I guess we could talk about this. So let me pose a different scenario here. We know that black lung is a thing that coal miners often got, and people that work in older, maybe not so prevalent today, but if you were mining in a coal mine, that there's a risk of that. So I might know the risks of it, and I don't have other options for employment, and I might choose to do it, and it's not necessarily an issue of I'm destroying the temple of God. It's an issue of, can I feed my family and take care of them, and this is my option for doing that. Okay, now as an owner of a mine, and I know that I don't want to exploit my workers because, of the whole thing of doing what's right for them. So I might go above and beyond if I'm a Christian trying to take care of my workers, give them extra breaks, give them extra equipment, give them other things, and then maybe even take care of their family in some ways with life insurance policies and other benefits, or better health care if they have problems that come on from their doing things. So, from related to what happens to them from working. So, is it beneficial? Is it wise? And am I destroying the body with intent? Am I doing it because of what choices I have? And I think a lot of times you have to wrestle through all of those. It's not black and white. It's not, here's the yes list and here's the no list. Oh, I noticed I stopped the music when I went to the fish and I didn't start it again. Okay, any questions as I go along? Any pushback on this? Please do that, because depending upon your experience, if you grew up in the church, if you grew up in a different church, if you grew up in one tradition, if you grew up in another, we have lots of views on this. So I really want this to be a discussion and you to think through these things rather than say, here's the one hard and fast rule. I don't think there's one hard and fast rule for everybody. Okay. Here's another saying they say. You say food for the stomach and the stomach for food, but God will destroy both. Okay, so if I have a stomach, food was invented for the stomach, so I can eat whatever I want. Food for the stomach and the stomach for food. The stomach was created for food, so I can consume anything that I want. That's the idea here, and he's saying, but God will destroy both. So if food is for the stomach and the stomach is for food and God's going to destroy them both, why would you let your stomach rule over you? And I don't know that, well, I guess one way to think about it is we get cravings at times. And are we self-disciplined with what we have? Now, I am not picking on, let me make this clear. I am not picking on anyone that has an eating disorder, and I'm not picking on anyone that's overweight and struggling with weight, okay? It's a separate thing. But if every time I go through the checkout lane at the grocery store, and I see a candy bar there, and I can't resist getting a candy bar every time that it's there. If I'm one of those people that hides candy around my house in certain places so that at any point I can grab candy, that's not beneficial to me, and I'm being controlled by it, okay? Now, it could be anything. It could be anything that you consume. If you don't know, if you haven't been here, I have been switching my tea over to decaf. in an effort to question whether or not and I don't feel I have any addiction. I don't get up in the morning with jitters until I go and have my tea. I just have been studying how long does it take caffeine in your body to get out of your body and those kinds of things, and going, is it beneficial to me? Well, I like the taste of my tea. Now, frankly, decaf tea does not taste as good as regular tea. I understand that. So I'm giving up flavor on some level in order to give up the caffeine. So I've got a new one that I'm trying. I've got English breakfast that is decaf, so as to make sure I'm not being controlled by something that I'm putting in my body. Andy, I am oh, wait. I missed Lucis. If I hide candy around my house, is so your kids don't eat it all up? That's separate. I was saying hiding it so that you always have access and that you're sneaking it, kind of a thing, because I know people that do that. And I'm picking on candy because it's an easy thing to pick on, but it could be, well, let me put it a different way. I know certain people that have ice cream every day at the end of the day, because culturally that's one of the little treats that they do. They don't go overboard. They just have one scoop of ice cream every day. It's like their treat at the end of the day. They're not consumed by it, but they enjoy it. They don't overindulge. They just enjoy it. So you can go in the direction of, I'm doing this for pleasure and enjoyment. I'm not consumed by it. And if they miss a day, they miss a day. Andy, you are completely consumed by caffeine, but it's beneficial to me as a person with ADHD. Oh, yes. As a younger person, and probably did have some addictions to it when I drank, between 2 and 4 liters of soda every day. And all the way through high school, as I worked in restaurants, I never slept more than 5 hours at night. And it's probably because I had so much caffeine, my body could not shut down long enough for me to sleep. And I didn't know that at the time. I didn't understand that at the time, or I could have made better decisions. So in some of these things, you may not know better, and you may not be able to do anything differently. But when you work in a restaurant and you have free soda, and then the rest of the day you're drinking soda, that makes a difference. Supersonic, but you can't control like others' decisions, secondhand smoke. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I went back to that one. But totally agreed. Like in some regards, I grew up in a house with secondhand smoke. So yeah. And I grew up where you go to restaurants and there was smoking, and I worked in restaurants where there was smoking. I could not control any of that. All right, there's the end of my matcha tea that I was enjoying this morning. Supersonic. I mean, when people smoke around me and I can't avoid the matter. When at work and people walk around, I smell like a chimney, or walk through a person or a group who are smoking. Yes. You're right. There are things we cannot control. And we have risks all around us from other people's behavior. Ironically, so is nicotine. You need to give up vaping, not nicotine, just vaping. Oh, yes, nicotine can have some health benefits, but the other things that are in there are not beneficial. So, like if it's cigarettes, not vaping, there's all kinds of things that cause cancer in cigarettes. Vaping has like metals and things in there, so that's not necessarily beneficial. Yeah. By the way, if you did not see, or we did not read, I have a free ticket for Reach Conference, and I want to give that away soon. I should have already given it away. I keep forgetting about it. I keep trying to do something. So this is the way I'm going to do it. If you don't know Reach Conference, let me just show you that real quick. You know what? Let me run the ad. I'm going to run the ad for Reach Conference. Let me do that a second. Come on. Where is it?
Streaming life by the reeds.
I don't see it. Oh, there we go. I'm like, it should be at the top. Okay, here we go.
Attention streamers, content creators, gamers, and cosplayers. Last year, ReachConf was an absolute blast. An in-real-life celebration where creators connected, impactful speakers inspired, gaming tourneys, on-stage shenanigans, and fantastic music kept the energy high.
I'll tell you what, the
more
mosh
than an
pit
event.
was legendary.
It was a community coming
Legendary.
together.
Was so much fun.
Get ready for ReachConf 2025.
November
happening
6th through
November
8th.
6th to 8. All the best parts of gaming and creative culture will be there, live and in person. Last year, we hit capacity, and even with increased numbers this year, tickets are sure to sell fast. Don't miss your chance to be part of the ultimate IRL experience. Grab your tickets now and join the movement.
All right, so if you are interested in going, go check out the website. Do that more. If you want to buy a ticket, you can use my code FLATCAP and get $5 off the cost. We've sold over 100 tickets so far. There are max of 500. I will be there. You can see a lot of people that were in there. They will plan on being there. I went last year. It was amazing. It was fun. So great meeting other streamers that I know, meeting brand new people that I do not know. It was super. The speakers were amazing. I can't wait for this year. So DM me if you would like a chance to go. So, but please, if you're like, I don't know whether I can go or not, if you're not going to use the ticket, but you think you will, and then it turns out you can't, please let me know and I can help you give that ticket to someone else. But I want my ticket to get used. So, 4K, Zula. Hey, I must go. Heard so many great things. Yes. It is super, super fun. Okay. Lucis, the vaping company adds something to make it addicting so they could continue to have consumers. It really sad. Well, the same with cigarettes. They do add some things in there. Yeah. 4K. Hi chat, hi pastor. Love you, fam. Love you too, man. I've seen you over in Ukulele a couple of times. They do. It's nicotine. There are other things that they add in the process too. And sometimes companies add things to make them cheaper. Sometimes they add things to be addicting. And we don't have control over those things. So just let's switch off of things that most people just view as totally bad. Go look at your food. Like maybe you're not a label reader. For years, a lot of labels I didn't read. I did not think I needed to read labels. Okay, I'm buying shredded cheese. Why would I need to read the label on shredded cheese? It should just be cheese, right? Oh, it is not just cheese. If you're buying shredded cheese, that dust that's on there is a form of sugar. It's there so that it doesn't clump together. But also, they could use something different than sugar. Why would you add sugar in there? Because sugar is going to be one of those things that causes you to eat more. If I put sugar in your food, you will consume more, you will eat more. So whenever you start seeing, I can't remember what maltodextrin or something like that is the label that's on there, it's going to cause you to eat more. Natural flavors is not actually a good thing on your label. You go, oh, well, natural. Oh, well, natural flavors can be anything, okay? This isn't what they're doing, but arsenic is natural. Arsenic is a poison. So just saying natural flavors doesn't mean it's good for you. It means it's such in a low quantity, I can hide and disguise and not tell you what I'm putting in there. So, Andy, no, they don't actually with vapes. Vapes juice is literally just VG, PG flavors and nicotine. Common misconceptions, most of the addiction with vaping comes with the hand-to-mouth habit. Oh, interesting. I have not looked into it that much. So many things have added sugar, caffeine, corn syrup, etc. Color numbers, yes. One of the other things, too, is I'm really cautious about anything that's a petroleum product. I would not drink motor oil or gasoline. And anything that's a petroleum product is made from the same stuff that those things come from. And yeah, I know chemically you can divide those and you can do things with them. I'm just saying, Anything that's got plastic, it's got, petroleum base, I do not want to consume it. I think it is detrimental to my body. So, preach. Now that we have kids, we notice so many terrible addictives. It's terrible. It is. I try to the best I can, and this isn't something I've always done, buy single ingredient items. Like, this is it. So, like, for instance, let's go back to cheese. It should have milk fat of some kind, whatever kind it is, and enzymes. And sometimes if you have yellow cheese, it's coloring in there to make it look good. I prefer to get my cheese white if it's white and yellow if it's yellow and nothing added. But it should simply be like milk fat and enzymes. That's all it should be in cheese. Anything more, and you're adding other stuff. Supersonic, I don't drink energy drinks, pop, Monster, etc. You just mainly have your 2% milk and water. Yes. Andy, I'm a sucker for ginger ale. Yeah, there are some things that are hard. Hey, K-Man, welcome in. Some things that are hard at times when you get used to drinking them. But you could make your own ginger ale, Andy, if you just bought some ginger. And put it in a container and let it just naturally ferment. It would just take what's on there and naturally ferment for a week or 2 weeks, depending upon your conditions. It would naturally make a ginger soda. Won't be the same as what you're buying in the store, but you could make some natural ginger soda. No, I can't make Canada Dry. No, I don't think Canada Dry is the best ginger ale. I prefer Vernors, and then there's some other bespoke ones that like Gosling's ginger beer is really good too. Yeah. I'm not saying there's anything wrong. I'm just saying I think there's better than Canada Dry. You love ginger ale and you had to stop. So good. So much sugar. Yeah, that's the problem with sodas is too many sugars. I make my own soda, just carbonating water and then adding some flavor to it. So I even do that. Instead of trying to just make a natural soda, I just carbonate the water and then add flavor. All right. Let's keep reading in our text. Okay. So food for the stomach and stomach for food, and we'll destroy both. The body, however, is not meant for sexual immorality, but for the Lord, and the Lord for the body. Okay, wait. We were just talking about food. Why does he switch here and talk about sexual immorality? Okay, because I think part of the argument here about food is food sacrificed to idols, and I can do that. So if I can indulge, like anything is permissible, what we're talking about here is the practices of the pagans. You might be in a guild, and so in a guild, you have certain monthly celebrations that are going to be honoring the patron god of your guild. If you're a smith, it's going to be that. If you're some other kind of fabric worker, it would be that, whatever the god patron of that activity is. And so food sacrifice to the god of that would be part of it. Sexual immorality would be part of it. So I think he's talking about cult practices here, that you can't just say everything's permissible, everything's beneficial. He's attacked food, now he's attacking sexual immorality. I think we're going to a practice of a celebration that's happening within your guild or within your city for whatever you're celebrating your city. So I think these are corporate acts, not personal, individual kind of things. Okay. By his power, God raised the Lord from the dead, and he will also raise us also. Do you not know that your bodies are members of Christ himself? Here is his rationale for why we need to take care of our bodies. We are members of Christ himself. So shall I then take the members of Christ and unite it with a prostitute? Never. Okay, and again, this is more likely not just a sex worker, but a sex worker for a temple who is going to be a cult worship practice. So am I uniting in the practice of worshiping another god with the body that is part of the temple of God? Do you not know that one who unites himself with a prostitute is one with her? For it is said, the two will become flesh, but whoever is united with the Lord is one in spirit with him. All right, let me see if there's anything on chat. That's the peak for me. It's always the same, and it's the best. But it has to be the same. Thanks, autism. Oh, no worries. No worries. I understand the here's my preference. I get that. Supersonic, how addicting fast food is. High in calories, energy drinks, caffeine, and sugar. Candy snacks, same case. With social media and constant scrolling on phones, etc., all leads to stimulation, awake, tired, not much energy, etc. That doesn't even include the companies having advantage of these things for profit. Yeah. It also, like, depending upon your country, what the profit margins are on things, what the cost of the main ingredients are. I don't know how true this is still today, but it probably is still true today. The most expensive thing in Coca-Cola is the sugar. And the amount of sugar that is in there costs them pennies. It costs them pennies in the form of sugar to be able to make the beverage. And then they're selling it for a high price. And oh yeah, the sugar is going to be addictive to you, and the sugar is going to cause a crash. And when you have a crash, what are you going to do? You're going to reach for more sugar to rebound from the crash that you have. Yeah. So many may try to use the sugar alternatives to get away from that. They're not really any better for your body, because your body doesn't know the difference when your taste buds taste sugar and when they taste fake sweetener. And in fact, fake sweeteners are often 10 to 100 times more sweet than sugar, and your body doesn't know what to do with it, and it responds as if there is actual sugar there. So it's not good. Yeah, 70 grams plus added for many beverages. Yeah, it's awful. And then we've exported that around the globe. Sugar alcohol alternatives are so bad for you. Yeah. So here's the piece of that. You need to be constantly evaluating and thinking about what you're consuming, what you're putting in your body. Yeah, especially in convenience stores. Yeah. And I'm constantly learning things all the time. So, for instance, I had switched to olive oil away from sunflower oils and canola oils after learning a bunch about how bad those kinds of oils are for you. So I switched to olive oil. Now I've just learned recently that olive oils in their genetic structure have a couple, I can't remember how it's done, but anyway, a couple of open-ended things on their chain that can become toxic when heated to your body. I'm like, oh, great. I thought I was improving what I was doing. Now I'm learning that there are some negatives to the thing that was more healthy. Now what do I do? So it's this constantly learning, constantly exploring, constantly trying to improve what you're doing, not just assuming that you know everything and understand everything, that you're doing the best for your body. Okay. Oh, sorry. What happened there? I must have hit the side here button when I was just trying to click on the screen. Flee from sexual immorality. All other sins a person commits are outside the body, but whoever sins sexually sins against their own body. Do you not know that the bodies are the temple of the Holy Spirit? Here we go. Who is in you, whom you have received from God. You are not your own. You were bought with a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies. Okay. Each oil has an application. Oh, true. And some are just like Crisco. Stay away from Crisco. There is nothing healthy about Crisco. Supersonic, with so many things not healthy, what is actually healthy anymore and appealing so you aren't still desiring the bad things? Yeah. Well, I try to grow as many vegetables as I can and eat them. And then when I don't, I have adopted the practice a few years ago, and I actually just saw a video on this. This was a really cool video that kind of like supported some other thinking that I'd had along the lines of, so I eat fruit in season. So right now it is strawberry season where I live. I bought some strawberries. I'm trying to grow some strawberries. Deer get in the way of that. I just got some new ones. They all died. I'm trying again. Maybe I'll get strawberries next year. It's also the season for rhubarb. So I'm eating rhubarb. It's also the season for asparagus. I'm eating asparagus. So I eat those in season. I don't generally try to eat them year round. Now, especially with fruit, I definitely do not want to eat fruit year round. I only eat it when it is ripe in the season. And the one video I just watched was talking about how your body can sense the sunlight that is outside with the weather conditions that you have. So in the middle of winter, the things that you eat consume only so much sunlight in that time of the year and in that day. And when you go give in the middle of, for me, I'm in North America, in your winter, you give it food that's tropical, that has longer days, you are disconnecting your body with the food that you are eating. You are in a state where your body is thinking that it has to conserve, it needs all of these things, and you're feeding it food that has bright sunshine and that does not match with the conditions that you're living in. Like, it's a fascinating thing. I don't know how to explain it better than that. They certainly did a better job on the video than that, but it was like, I just started doing that because we have the access, or I do, to go to the grocery store and eat any fruit any day of the week, buy it any time of the year, and make it. So while that can be a fun treat in the middle of winter, if I wanted to, I would rather just eat things in season, enjoy them in season, and then not have them for part of the year. I think it is a better rhythm to do things that way. So, Supersonic, even grow veggies GMO if not careful. Yes, there's a whole thing with that. I have not gone down the GMO direction of things to explore that. I haven't got into that far of things. I do on some level, like for instance, my own things I'm growing, I do not use chemicals on anything. If the bugs get them, the bugs get them. I really want to stay away from pesticides. They are dangerous. They're I think it's endocrine disruptors. They're bad things to have in you, and we can't control those. So yeah, that's one reason I would say to buy organic, is so that you don't have those, but even their organic pesticides you can still use, so that may or may not be something I want. Andy, also though, if you want food to taste good, like restaurant good, you have to add salt. Oh, I have no issue with salt. Salt can be addicting. I've never felt that with salt. In fact, like for most of my life, I never added salt. I added pepper, but not salt. I've only, like in the last maybe 5 years, started adding salt. Like when I cook, I never added salt with stuff. Like you can add salt if you want later, you know. Yeah. Well, the other thing too, for instance, every domesticated crop that we have has in some way been genetically modified because we breed it that way. The thing with GMO is what we are doing is splicing genes from plants that are not in that plant family to get resistance or other things. And that's where I'm like, get concerned about it. But yeah, Monsanto is a company that creates GMO products, and people think GMO equals Monsanto equals bad. There are a lot of genetically modified things. Yeah, GMO is not new. It existed since the 1800s. Yeah, it's just the level of gene splicing we can do today in splicing things together. Yeah, bananas were changed a long time ago. Yeah, what's funny, if you are outside of the U.S., and you were to show people the bananas that we eat, those are the bananas they feed to the pigs. Like the bananas you go to the grocery store to buy are the bananas they think are worthless, and they're the bananas they feed to the pigs. So bananas you believe we only have because of genetic modification. Yeah. Okay. So therefore, honor God with your bodies. How do you honor God with your bodies? Why are those bananas different? Oh, okay. With many fruits, with many vegetables, there are hundreds of varieties of something. And so one of the things is the bananas that we eat are very high in sugar. They have very short shelf lives, those kinds of things. They all come from one gene, one plant. So if a disease got into that, it could wipe out the whole banana crop around that. Versus things more like a plantain, if you know what plantains are, that are firmer, they get fried up like potatoes. That's what a lot of other bananas are going to be like. They're going to be more along those kinds of things than a sweet fruit. Yeah, that's why bananas candy tastes different than actual bananas. Yeah. Okay, so how do I honor God with my body? Oh, Cavendish bananas were the original variety? I did not know that. Okay, so one is avoiding things that are connected with pagan rituals. That's certainly, I think, what he has in mind here for the original audience. I don't go to all of the festivals that I have a right to go to because I don't believe in what they believe, and so I cannot practice what they practice. I can do different things. I can approach them differently and not get caught up in all of the stuff that has to do with. Hey, Artsy Bible Nerd, welcome in. So, if I'm eating the meat, I have the right to eat meat. I know there's not actually a God behind it, though the people practicing are. When I eat it, do they think that I believe what they believe? Okay. And if they think I believe what they believe in that regard, how do I then stand up for sexual immorality that they're also practicing at these pagan places when we have guild festivals, when we have new moon festivals, when we have city festivals, all of those things that culturally I'm supposed to participate in? How do I resist that if I don't stand firm on one thing and I give in to everything? I am not honoring God with my body because my body then is honoring the other God. That's what I'm doing with my body. When I practice these other things, I'm honoring the other God. So how do I practice those things? Well, we don't have this situation today. Well, maybe there are in some places, but culturally, there are not city gods in most places around the world. There are not national gods. And there are not guilds that we are a part of where they have these monthly celebrations and all. I'm not saying you can't be a part of a guild and have things like that, but they don't have sacrifices made and then participating in the eating of the meat that was sacrificed. They do not have prostitution that takes place and participation of worship. So they don't have those things. So what do we look at with our bodies being the temple, and how are we honoring God with our bodies? Well, what are things that we can do with our body that show honor to God? What do we do things with our body that could show dishonor to God? Well, if I am a person of anger and vengeance and beat people up, I would say I'm not honoring God with my body. If I cuss people out all the time, oh yeah, my words can also be honoring God or dishonoring God. I don't think that's what he has in mind here, but I'm just applying it where I can. But does this mean that if I'm overweight, I'm dishonoring God? Well, no, that may not be true. You might be only able to access food that is not going to be beneficial for your body. This has been true throughout time, where people's access to rich nutritional food is too expensive. Access to good food, like you can't access the parts of things that are beneficial. You get the low cuts of meat because that's all you can get. So it's not about what you have access to. It's, I think, about what your thoughts are behind what you do. Hope that's making sense. Kazaku, we're allowed to kill to defend ourselves. You agree, right? I'll come back to that. Supersonic, you got a hat in mind? Let me know if you've got a thought in mind. Green, okay. If you've not seen the inside before, there it is. Okay. Yes, I think that if I'm defending myself, I may be justified if someone dies. I also think in defending myself, I do not need to go to the extreme of killing the other person. Now, circumstances are what's going to dictate that. I also, if I'm defending only myself and not my family, am going to maybe not defend myself all the way. Maybe I'm just going to allow that person to kill me. Case in point, missionaries have gone overseas. Missionaries have gone to places where they get attacked and die. And I think that that is an appropriate response in some cases to win people to Christ. Not every case. So that's what I said. Circumstances would dictate what my choice would be. I would not go around saying you can't defend yourself. I think you can. I, however, do not picture a scenario by which I would intentionally shoot someone with the motive to kill them because I see the other person as created in the image of God, and harming that other person would be harming an image bearer of God. And so killing them would not be something I want to do. So it would only be accidental. For instance, if I were defending myself and I did have a situation where I was going to shoot someone, I'm going for the legs. I'm not going to try to go to the chest, and I'm definitely not shooting them in the head. Now, I might, depending on what's happening, try to wrestle them, get them in a chokehold, subdue them in some other way. If I'm outnumbered 3-1, 4-1, and have people shooting at me, the situation changes. So yes, you do have the right to defend yourself. I do think that there is biblical circumstances for that. Or reasons for it. I don't know the passages I'd go to. It'd take me a while to go look that up. But I do think that there is a case of you have the right to defend yourself when you're attacked. I think that's very clear. I just think I'd rather go less than kill them. That would be my preference. Your internet always lagging at the worst time. Oh, sorry to hear that. Tomorrow, welcome in. Supersonic, affordability of food is way cheaper to get non-healthy versus healthy food. It is. It is. And sometimes it's because the chemical processes of things make food cheaper. They make food preserve longer on the shelves. So the expensive food doesn't have that because it's more expensive. Healthy food is more expensive because you don't put the additives in it that will keep it shelf stable and keep it longer. Therefore, it perishes if not sold. So you have to sell it at a higher price in order to get more. To the extent that you can, I think that you should buy from a local farmer. Even if it's slightly more expensive, buying from a local farmer is going to be beneficial in lots of ways for both you and your community. Kazaku, okay. We don't need to actually kill while defending ourselves, but if it ends up dead, I did not sin to God killing him. Okay, yeah. And like I said, if you feel threatened, okay, I've already made my choice if I'm going to shoot in the legs, but if you feel fully threatened and you think the only way to stop them is to shoot them and kill them, you are still defending yourself. You are not the one who is the aggressor. I think you're still fine, okay? I'm just saying I'm willing to, if I'm not with my family, if I'm not defending someone else, let them win in their aggression versus lose, and in certain circumstances, I'm totally willing to not defend myself. Oh yeah, you found a passage in Exodus. Good. Exodus 22. If the thief is caught while breaking in and struck and he dies, there will be no blood guilt on his account. There we go. Yeah, that's exactly it. The thief is breaking in. So it's not only about the thief is going to rob you. The thief is probably, the thief is probably also going to harm you as the thief is doing that. So why charge more if it needs to sell faster, especially when people may cater to cheaper? Oh, so it's a matter of it's going to like well, let me put it this way. Let me give you so if I have a tomato for sale and I have a jar of tomato sauce, the jar of tomato sauce can sit on the shelf for years. The tomato can sit on the shelf for months. If I do not sell, so if I have 100 tomatoes, I have to make money on the 50 that will sell for the 50 that will go bad before they sell. So I have to charge more, and I'm just picking random numbers. I don't know actual percentages. I have to charge more for the tomato to make up for the ones that will go bad and won't get sold, and for the ones that were ugly that didn't go to the store because they're too ugly to sell. And the tomato sauce is going to sit on the shelf until it's sold. So I don't have to charge more for the tomato sauce because I will sell every jar of tomato sauce. I have to charge for the tomatoes that don't get sold, that end up going to waste, because otherwise I don't get paid for all of my work efforts and all of that I purchased as a reseller. So hope that makes sense. All right, we got ads coming in. So let's go take a look at Fishies, and I'll get caught up on chat after that.
Content creators, gamers, and cosplayers. Last year, ReachConf was an absolute blast, an in-real-life celebration where creators connected.
Oops, I don't need
impactful
this
speakers
again.
Inspired.
By the way, if you did not see, there are birds. There are birds. No sound. Okay, thank you. I turned the fish song off when I did the reach, and I didn't turn it back on. There we go.
Flat Cat Pastor shows
And let me get this.
Stream it
a
live,
minute.
come what may.
No, it's not there. Okay, I'll wait till I get
With
back.
his cam, he shows it all. Little fish, both big and small. Life in ponds so serene. Nature's beauty on a screen. See the ripples, watch the flow. Hear the
Yeah, I muted the mic, or I muted the
gentle
fish song
Flat caps
when the
charm, calm in tone
I
makes
played the
fish
reach
feel right
ad,
at home.
and then I didn't turn it back on.
Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flat Cat Pastor shows the way. Stream it live, come what may. Refuse Cammy shows it all. Little fish, both big and small. Life in ponds so serene. Nature's beauty on a screen. See the ripples, watch the flow. Hear the music, gentle glow. Flat Cap's charm, calm in tone, makes the fish feel right at home. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flat Cat Pastor shows the way. Stream it live, come what may. Flat cat pastor rocks his tweed, streaming life by the reeds. Fish pond calm and glassy clear, view it all right from here. Dapper man with Saxon hand.
All right. We should be back from the ads. So, as I was saying, if you did not know, I have birds, baby birds that are in the nest there. Mom comes every once in a while to feed them. I got a pretty good clip of that yesterday, which is really, really cool. So you can go over to the other channel if you enjoy watching creation. It's not currently up. My computer was frozen. That computer takes like hours for some reason to fully get functional, and so I had to do so I don't ever do a restart on it. So I'm currently working on that, and it'll be up later today. Make sure I've got updates on every file before I launch it again. So it'll be up in a couple of hours, probably this afternoon it'll be up. So, but Mama Bird's been around feeding the babies. They have not gone out of the nest yet, but they're getting big and floofy. So they don't look like they're popping out right now, so I won't show you. But you can change what angle you're watching them on the other channel. All right. Artie, you were saying that you wish you could grow food. You struggle with that. Yeah, not everyone can grow their own food. That's why I said, you know, I try to. I'm not successful at growing everything. There are things that I buy because I'm just not successful at growing them. Or, for instance, when I buy corn, was it earlier this week? I saw a raccoon go into my fish pond. It just went in and was there for a couple of minutes in the morning, and then it left. So I know I have raccoons in the area. If I were to grow sweet corn, I would be waiting for it to be ready. I'd be, this is going to be good. I'm going to pick it, on Saturday, and come Thursday, the raccoons and the deer would eat and ravage all of my corn. So I don't live in an area that's going to allow me to grow enough corn to actually harvest my corn. So that won't work for me. There are other things I've tried to grow that I've not been successful. I'm going to pick something that's not a food, but roses. Lots of people love roses. They've had success with roses. I have tried early on to grow roses. Let's see, 1, 2, 3 different houses that I lived in. I tried to grow roses. I can't grow roses. They look good for the first year. They come next year dead. That's it. Like you buy them, you put them in, they grow that year. The next year, they're dead. Nothing doing there. So I stick with those things I'm pretty good at. Zucchini, squash, pretty good at that. Tomatoes, my greenhouse is amazing for tomatoes. I can't wait to get fresh tomatoes. So anyway, let's get back over to the Bible. Cam? RCN, did the raccoon steal any fish? Your colleague has a problem with them eating fish. No, let's go back over to the pond and let me show you here a minute. I'll zoom in on the pond. Okay, so let me move the camera angle. Come on, pull it up. There we go. Okay, so if I zoom over here to the left, see the wall that's there? So you can, maybe you can't see, but the blocks on top are close to 8 inches high, and then there's an 8-inch drop down to the water level. Hey, thank you for the follow. Splaz, I hope that's Splasm. Thanks for the follow. And then once you get in the water, it's a straight drop into the water. So you could not fish from the shore and be able to catch one of my fish. You would have to jump in the water and the fish will swim away from you. So it's not conducive. And there's no place there for an animal to stand. However, so see the black box right there? The black box is my filter. So that is the only shallow area in my pond. So the raccoon went into that area. I had thrown a couple of carrots that were going bad in the pond to see if the koi would eat them. It apparently had floated in there, and the raccoon was eating the carrot. So it went into that box, and then it went and it left. So unless the fish was dumb enough to stay right there next to the black box, The raccoon is not going to catch a fish at all. Neither would a heron or other birds that like to stand in the water. That's the only place that is shallow. I intentionally made my... Oh, and I can scan out here just a minute since we're looking. There's my automatic feeder. And so then the fish can get their food. I need to actually make sure that's full today. Oops, let me pull back.
Little fish, both big and small.
Get this lined up. Oh, you can see my iris is there. And there's some eye on the back as well. Okay, that looks good. All right. Great question, though. Great question. No, I designed it intentionally to make it as difficult for predators to get my fish as possible.
Flat caps charm.
Sean and Julie, hello, hello, hello. Okay. So getting back to, Artsy was saying he wished he could grow his food. Yeah, I know. And some people live in places like you're in an apartment and you have no place to grow food. Maybe you could grow herbs or things in your house or have one or two plants. Like you could probably grow some lettuce. You could probably grow some lettuce, leaf lettuce, not a head. But doing good, Sean and Julie. Doing good. Okay, so going back to here's where people make arguments about what do you do with your body? Is it honoring to God with your body? And then they'll pull in other passages too. So, let me go in this direction. There's a passage in Leviticus that may or may not say do not tattoo your body. It's unclear. It's unclear exactly what that word means because it's only used that one place. So is it an absolute prohibition on a tattoo or not? I do not know. I'm not convinced it is. However, I might go from the standpoint of, I don't know if I'm honoring God with a tattoo. So if I got a tattoo of a naked lady, how would that be honoring God? That I'm going to say, nope. If I got a tattoo of a skull and crossbones, a pirate symbol, is that honoring God? No. That is venerating on some level pirates. How is that honoring to God? Not honoring to God. If I get a cross tattooed on me, which I know people do, or if I got Hebrew scriptures tattooed on me, and I have pastor friends who, yes, they got tattoos of Hebrew letters on them, they feel they're honoring God with that. Their intent is to honor God. I'm not sure if it does, if it doesn't, but you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to argue with them. I'm not going to argue with them. If their intent is to honor God with that tattoo, then maybe they are. Now, if I get a tattoo in memory of a family member who passed away, am I honoring God? I don't know if I am. I'm honoring the dead person. Does that in some way honor God to remember the dead person? I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. If I just want to put a rose on my body or a bird of some kind or a cat, I don't know. I don't know. That's neutral. Maybe it's not honoring God. Maybe it's not dishonoring God. I don't know the answer with that. What about getting piercings? I can't think of, and I'm not picking on this, and I'm not going to go with any controversial piercings. Just like getting your ear pierced. Is it honoring to God? Well, I guess it could be if I put a cross in there. Otherwise, I don't think it's one way or the other. It's not dishonoring. It's not honoring. So in that regard, I don't have an answer. So 1 Corinthians 16:20. The Message Study Bible. You are bought and paid. All of you are his. Live your life conscious of how irreplaceable, priceless you are. You host God in your skin. Ooh, that's an interesting translation. How irreplaceably priceless you are. I like that. You were bought with a price. So that's what they're translating. Irreplaceably priceless you are. Therefore, honor God with your bodies. Yeah, you host God in your skin. They're going with more the incarnate or the indwelling of the Spirit part there. than the what do you do with your bodies. So honoring God with your bodies could be things that I use it to do. So here's the thing I don't think we can do. I don't think we can just neglect our bodies. Okay? I'm just going to neglect it and not care about it. I'm going to do things that I know are harmful and detrimental to my body. And when I say that, I am not thinking of anyone with any mental conditions who are struggling with any kind of self-harm and those things. I'm not talking about that in any way. I'm talking about, well, I can't do anything about it. I'm not going to try to take care of it. But shouldn't I try to take care of my body to the best that I can? Does that mean I exercise? Does exercise benefit my body? Let me see. Where do we have that passage? Let me go find that one. Beat my body. I think that's the way it's phrased. Okay, here we go. Corinthians 9. Let's go in context. So we'll go full chapter again. It's verse 27. Oh, the KJV. For you were bought with a price, therefore glorify God with your bodies and in your spirit, which are God's. Oh, yes. I love that. I love that. So the aspect of I'm honoring God with my spirit. So the intent behind what I'm doing is also important. Okay, so 27 is where I am. Okay, I think we can just jump down to, the need for self-discipline. Okay. So, yeah, to win the weak, I am weak. To win the, to win the weak, I become weak. Yes. I become all things, and it's possible. Okay, so here's one of those things, too. This also, I think, has to do with their body. To the weak, I become weak to win the weak. I become all things to all people, so as possible means to win, I might win some, or save some. So for the sake of the gospel, I don't become an alcoholic and go hang out on Skid Row with winos to try to win winos to Jesus. It's not what he's saying. He's talking about the viewpoint of the world. I go hang out on Skid Row with those people who are weak. I become, in the eyes of everyone around me, a weak person. Though I don't participate in the weakness, I become like them so that I may win them. How do I win homeless people? By caring for them, by associating with them, by spending time with them. That's the part where I become weak, because you become associated with who you associate with. So if I associate with the homeless, I become like them. I don't just drive by, here's some food, and go on my way. I do more than that. I spend time with them. I invest in them. I come alongside of them. I'm just picking on one scenario there. Okay. All right. Do you not know that in a race all runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize. Everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last, but we do it to get a crown that will last forever. Therefore, do not run like someone running aimlessly. Do not fight like a boxer beating the air. Preach to others. I myself am not disqualified for the prize. Okay. I think this is anything that if people find out about it. So just think about in the last several, no voice. It's showing, okay, back. There is some issue on my computer where I don't know if it's the software or what it is. Will just cut out for a minute and come back, and I don't know what it is. I'm not sure how to fix it. Can I repeat? Yeah. Absolutely. WHBQ. No, I strike a blow to my body and make it a slave so that after I have preached to others, I myself will not be disqualified for the prize. So I need to rule over my body instead letting passions of my body rule over me. I think that has to do with addictions. So if I'm addicted to caffeine and it rules my body instead of me making conscious choice, am I going to have caffeine today or not have caffeine? I'm not jittery and nervous until I have it, and I have to calm my nerves. By the way, decaf tea this morning. Anything that consumes my thoughts. This is one of the things that I really have loved about being one meal a day. I don't worry about what I'm eating next. I don't think about what I'm eating next. I used to all the time get done with a meal and think about what am I eating at my next meal. I would be consumed with thinking about food in between meals. How am I striking a blow against my body? Because I eat one meal a day so that my mind is not consumed with food and thinking about food. I have now, not entirely, but I have now taken control of my body's urges to eat. Now, like I said, not entirely. Sometimes after I eat dinner, I have bad days and I just can't help but have the munchies, and I'll eat some nuts and I'll eat some cheese, and then I'll go, oh, I need something else, and I might have a little salsa or, whatever else. I'll have those days and I'll have those struggles. But as a rule, I'm not consumed day in and day out by what I eat next. Even when I do a long extended fast, I don't get consumed by the thoughts of food very often. So I master over it so that it doesn't cause urges that I then end up being disqualified in some way. Now, I know, depending upon cultural time and where you are, certain things will feel like they're more disqualified than others. If I'm a horrible gossip, people might not want to associate with me, but they're not going to judge me the same way as if I got caught in adultery. Now, people are going to view me a certain way. Now, depending upon my role in a community, the view of me as being caught in adultery is going to change. If I'm just an average person in the pew or in the community, that's an unfortunate thing that happened. Maybe they can get back together. If I'm a pastor, boom, pull him out of the office, disqualify him, run him out of town, run him out of the church. And I'm not saying justified, unjustified. I'm only talking about, I disqualified myself. So it's really, really unfortunate. It seems like last year there were a lot of prominent pastors who had something shady come up about themselves that just was not good. Why would you be willing to do that? To have those shady things going on? If you're doing something that would ruin your life if it got out, that's something that's controlling you. And I'm not saying you wouldn't be embarrassed, okay? I'm not saying that. I'm saying ruin your life, ruin your career, destroy your family, destroy your relationships. If it's something that the information would destroy that, then it is ruling over you, and it's something detrimental that you should move away from. If it's something that got out and you're like, that's kind of bad, but it's not going to ruin your life, okay, maybe change it, but it's something you need to work on, not the same level. You're not necessarily disqualified there. Sean and Julie, 1 Corinthians 9:22, Message Study Bible. I am so persuaded about every person's inclusion in Christ that I desire to be everything I need to in order to win everyone's understanding of their union with Christ. I do not present myself as super strong to the weak, but rather expose myself. I think I would have picked a different word than expose myself to their weakness in order to win them. I would say join them or something like that. Join might not be the right word. I do not distance myself from anyone. That I like. My mission is to be exactly what is required of me in every possible situation to awaken every kind of person, whoever they are. I really like a lot of some of the way that's worded. Yeah. To their own salvation, I have no other agenda. That's really nice. You meant to type Mirror Study Bible, not message. Oh, okay. Mirror Study Bible. WHBQ, if you make an error in marriage and are disqualified from church service, how long are you disqualified? Forever, 10, 20, 30, 40 years, or is there any forgiveness? WHBQ, it really is going to depend on the community that you are in, on how they view that. I also think it's a matter of, are you caught or are you confessing what happened? Also, there's a matter of your spouse and your spouse's desire for reconciliation. I don't have a concrete answer for that. I think every situation is different. In some cases, maybe you're fully disqualified from being in the pulpit, but not other ministries. In some cases, maybe you don't have to be disqualified from the pulpit, depending upon how it came about and what you did about, like, let me give you good answers. Thanks. If suddenly I got into an emotional relationship through DM messages with someone online, and I would say that's emotional adultery. As Jesus said, if you have lusted after in your heart, then you've committed it. So if I've done that and it's been a short time, it begins, and then after it's happening, I get convicted of it, I end it, I go confess it. I don't know I have to leave the pulpit. I don't know that I have to. If I've been having a relationship with someone that's been ongoing for longer than 18 months and it's physical in a lot of ways, and I get caught in it and I'm saying there's nothing wrong with it, this is the love of my life, I'm going to divorce my wife and marry this other person, I'm not wanting you in the pulpit. You don't have remorse. You're not taking ownership of what you've done. You're not confessing in any way. You are mistreating both your wife and the other person you're with. I don't want that. I don't think you should. Now, I'm not saying that could never be back in the pulpit, depending upon what happens and circumstances. But maybe it's not this church. It would not be good for this community. Maybe after restoration, you could return to the pulpit somewhere else. But maybe in the community that you did that in would be detrimental for them. So, it's a whole spectrum. It's going to be based on the community that you're in. It's going to be based on some of your theological views within the denomination you are in. It's also going to depend on, like I said, the circumstances of it. Check out Tullian. I do not know how to say that story. He is Billy Graham's grandson. Okay. What happened there? Also, I would say, if all of that happened prior to you coming to faith in Christ, and then you choose to follow in ministry, no disqualification there. No disqualification there. Anyway, any other questions in regards to, so we've talked about several different areas about our bodies being the temple. Earlier we were talking about what we can and what we can't do, what we should and we shouldn't do with our body. So piercings, tattoos, things like that. I don't have a concrete answer. I think our motives have something to do with it. Like I said, a tattoo can be dishonoring to God. A tattoo, somebody might think, is honoring to God and choose to do that to honor God. And some can just be somewhere in between, neither of the two, depending on how you read Leviticus, depending on how you view things. As I mentioned, some believe that taking blood from the body is something you should not do. Let me put life is in the blood, and let me find that passage. We can look at that a minute. Thank you for the cookies. A chapum. Okay. Okay, so I don't think we have to go into context here. For the life of a creature is in the blood, and I have given it to you to make atonement for yourselves on the altar. It is the blood that makes atonement for one's life. Okay, but the whole fact that it says the life of a creature is in the blood, if I take your blood into me, I've taken your life into me, and they view you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. They will even go so far, depending on how you view that, is if I won't receive blood, I won't even receive an IV. I don't want to do those things. Some will go from the standpoint of, let me see, I don't know what passages you would go to with organ donations, other than maybe the same here of blood. But other people who are against organ donations are from the standpoint of, you are playing the role of God by donating an organ to someone, and someone, in most cases, other than kidneys, in most donations, other like bone marrow be another one. That's not an organ. Well, that would probably fall under life is in the blood. But if I donate an organ to you, that means I had to die. Someone had to die in order for you to have that organ. Let's just say heart transplant. I now have someone else's heart in me. Was it God's will for me to die, and now I am playing the role of God and taking life for myself that's longer than what was ordained for me? That's one perspective people have on it, if you've never heard that, of why you don't do organ transplants. Yes, bone marrow is considered an organ. Okay, thanks. It's a specialized tissue within the sponge callus portion of the bone, and its primarily function is due to produce blood cells. I knew what its function was. I didn't know if it was considered an organ or not, so thanks for that. I was thinking it felt like more like an organ than blood. Anyway, I don't know where I fall on that. I do think that some people feel like it's a gift of life for you to give the gift to someone else to receive an organ. And my wife has done that with kidneys. She donated her kidney to her aunt. I know plenty of people who have been organ recipients. I just don't know where I'm settled on that myself personally. I have no issues with anyone else. It's one of those things I have to wrestle with myself. I'm not in the situation. I don't know what I would actually do. It's all theoretical. But I don't think that it's playing God. That I can say. I don't feel like it's playing God. I think it is in similar veins with caring for a person that other medical procedures are. So, tunes in. That's why you don't do organ transplants. Corpius, why? Oh, okay. You have had 2 kidney transplants. Oh, Zach Lee. I wasn't saying I believe that. Yeah, curious. Yes. Because some will view that life is in the blood, and so you don't take blood because it's a life of someone else. So if an organ is transplanted, there's life in the blood. You've taken that into yourself. You're not supposed to. I'm not saying everyone views that. I'm saying that's one biblical perspective that some denominations take who are opposed to blood transfusions and or organ transplants and or individual Christians who might be. Also, someone other than kidneys and bone marrow, someone has to die for you to receive it. So it's in death, and should you take someone's organs who are dead. But also, there's the idea of you're playing God and prolonging life? And what if you are ordained for the life you have and taking an organ is playing God? I don't see it as that, but I'm just trying to talk through when you're talking about your body as the temple of God and are you honoring God with your body? How do you interpret that and the things that you do that are in life? Not speaking for or against of these things, just bringing them up as conversation. So exactly, that's what you walked into. Oh, I've had blood transfusion too, I believe, when I know I've had IV fluids, but I think at one point I've had to have blood. WHBQ is the committee that decides who gets a transplant playing God. Tough question, hard answer. There are some who might view that, but they also have criteria set up that is predetermined of your condition on the waiting list and your potential match. So on some level, I don't think they are from that on choosing who gets to, but that's another interesting, it's a tough question. Yeah. I'm watching. I've never thought about that. Maybe it falls under gifts of healing, the individual who originally had the knowledge of transplants. Yeah. And maybe that's an older view that a lot of people don't hold to now because transplants have become more common. But when those were first happening, and there's also when you had animal transplants instead of human-to-human transplants, species crossing, it becomes another part of that issue. So like I said, I'm not solving these things. I'm just asking the questions around the issue of how are we honoring God with our body? If it is the temple of God, these are things we consider when we're thinking through life around us. Pit 151, biblical principle as an example, Luke 13, 15 through 17, and then Romans. Okay. Do you consider yourself a missionary? Oh, sorry, that's not it. You didn't, they didn't post. Okay. Welcome in, by the way. Pitt, welcome in. Yeah, Zach Lee. Yeah, no problems. I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm saying here's some of the perspectives out there. Yes. Oh yeah. Oh, totally knew you weren't arguing. That's just a thought I've never had. That's an interesting contemplation. I was enjoying that thought. Yes, medical knowledge is constantly passed on and revised. Yeah, it's great wrestling with. Yeah, so we've talked about what do I do to mark my body? What do I do as far as my own personal health goes? If I'm honoring God with my body, okay, does it mean I get obsessed with and addicted to exercise? I don't think that's good. If I'm consuming, and I don't mean like I'm doing it as a profession. All right, Lexi Levels, sounds good. So for instance, I'm a physical trainer. I do that for a living. I love doing that and teaching people all that. I'm not consumed by it from the standpoint of it rules me, but that's what I do for a living. Totally fine. Bodybuilder, if that's what I'm doing for a living, okay, I think you're okay with that. But if I'm consumed with biohacking right now to make myself a better physical specimen and to change my body, I'm like, don't want to go in that direction, at least from what I understand of biohacking right now. And I mean on the injection of things, not trying to hack things to take something and eat something naturally. I'm talking about those people that inject themselves with different things to try to change their DNA. That's the level I'm talking there if you're not sure. Okay, let's see what we got here in these passages. The Lord answered, you hypocrites, don't each of you on the Sabbath unite your ox or your donkey from the stall and lead it out to give it water. Then you should not this woman, a daughter of Abraham, whom Satan has kept bound for 18 years long, be set free on the Sabbath day from what bound her? When he said this, all his opponents were humiliated, but the people were delighted with all the wonderful things he was doing. Yeah, so, yep, the thing that you you will do that you don't allow others to do. I think that's a good point here too. Of I do not need to force any of my views on someone else who views them differently. I don't know that there are specific things that address every circumstance and situation, and I don't know that every circumstance and situation should be answered the same way. Why isn't the name Satan mentioned in the Old Testament? It depends on your translation whether it is or isn't there. In the book of Job, the accuser, that's what Satan means, accuser. The accuser is there, and some translations don't put the article in front of it, and they just say Satan. And then there's some, depending on what you mean by that, whether it's used or not used. Okay. Romans 14, 1-4. Accept one whose faith is weak without quarreling over disputable matters. Yeah. This is exactly, I love that you put this in there. Yeah. I think that organ transplants, well, that's why I'm saying it depends on how you translate it. If it's the actual name Satan or not, some translate it as the actual name Satan. I prefer not to. So, and I'd have to go look at where it may be used outside of Job. It may be in other places. We can look that up real quick. So I can accept your position without arguing with you when it's a disputable matter. The problem is people will say that's not a disputable matter and not give grace to people. One's faith allows them to eat anything, but another's whose faith is weak eats only vegetables. Okay, I've heard this used, and I used to poke fun in this way. The person with weak faith is a vegetarian. That's not what it's saying. This is talking about meat sacrificed to idols. They can eat anything, but the other person is like, I'm going to avoid meat because I don't want to participate in pagan ritual. And one who eats everything must not treat with contempt the one who does not, and the one who does not eat everything must not judge the one who does. Yes, so we cannot treat each other with contempt, and we do not we do not judge the other person for their beliefs and how they're following and seeking after God. It's one reason why I like to take the position, and we were talking about it earlier, is it wise? Is it beneficial? I really think that's one of the best stances to take. Is it wise for you or beneficial for you? Maybe it is. Is it wise or beneficial for me? Maybe it's not. If I am trying to, for instance, win bikers or ex-convicts to Jesus, having tattoos is going to give me street cred. And maybe I will win more by having those tattoos. I'm not going to get street cred by just having those tattoos because I'm going to go get fake in the words of that I didn't earn them. Wasn't part of it. It wasn't any of those things. I'm going to just go get them from the stance of placating or condescending to them or a cultural appropriation of tattooing so that I can win them. No, that they'll see through that. So I don't judge those who do, who God's called them to that. For God has accepted them. See, here's the thing we forget. Is God accepted them? Are they in right standing with God? Who are you to judge someone else's servant? To their own master's servant stand and fall, and they will stand, for the Lord is able to make them stand. Yep. Good passages. Good passages, Pitt. Altus, hey, welcome in. You have thoughts on this section, or which section were you talking about? We covered a couple of them. The Luke or the Romans there? Also, anyone else have other passages that they think relates to how we care for, how we treat the body? The Romans one, yeah. Just one of those misapplied, misunderstood sections. Well, anything can be taken and misapplied and taken to an extreme and used in other ways. And like I said, I think part of it is, let's go look up the word disputable. So Romans 14. Okay, what did our translation say? Oh, we were looking here. Sorry, wrong one. Disputable matters. Okay. Diakoresis. Diakoresis.
Strong's G 1253. Diakrisis. Diakrisis.
Okay, distinguishing, discerning, judging. Okay, this is only like used 3 times, total 3 times, so we may not have a full understanding of how it's being used. Dialogismos. Dialogismos.
Strong's G 1261. Dialogismas. Dialogismas.
The thinking of man deliberating with himself, a thought, inward reasoning, a deliberating, questioning about what is truth, hesitation, doubting. Ah, okay. So the things that you have to wrestle with yourself. Ooh. So without quarreling over things that you yourself are wrestling with or that you yourself have wrestled through. That's pretty cool. I'm watching. I think God can use the dirtiest of saints, people with practically wicked backgrounds before Christ, because they can cut through the assumptions and really get the struggle of giving up sin and trusting God to truly change you. Oh, yeah, totally. Totally agree with you there. Yeah, they particularly can do that. Totally. The thought of where we're going with is now, after having followed God, how do we honor God with our bodies? That's where we're going. And I think on some level, we like hear the matter of someone eating meat or someone eating only vegetables. I think we can turn that on a level today. Yeah, Paul called himself the worst of sinners too. Yes, which I think is a view that we don't often take, that I myself am the worst. So why am I judging others? I might eat only healthy food. So does that mean I get to go judge everybody that eats junk food? No, I don't know the reasons for eating junk food. I don't know their financial status. Maybe because junk food is cheaper, it's all they can afford. Maybe they don't have access to healthier food. Maybe that, like, there are lots of reasons. And if I don't know and I'm judging them for not eating as healthy as me, how is that any different than judging someone who eats only vegetables because they're avoiding meat offered to idols? And I know that there's no such thing as an idol that's actually a thing. There's no power in it. So I'm not giving it power. I'm not honoring it. But I poke fun of the people that eat only vegetables because they're worried about that. Yeah, more real talk and less bless your soul conjecture and condescension. Oh, yes. I still fight sin and intrusive thoughts even while praying. I get Paul. Oh, yeah. Yeah. One of the things that culturally the church has established is every head bowed and every eye closed, and you have to close your eyes in prayer. If I close my eyes, I often get very distracted in prayer. Especially when I'm praying, not so much. Sometimes I do. Still, I will have intrusive thoughts. I'm trying to pray, and all of a sudden something else pops into my head, and I start thinking about that, and then realize I stopped praying. Oh yeah, I totally get that. Pit 105 or Pit 151. Regarding blood organ tissue donations or even medical procedures, the passage referring shows the principle of Jesus approved doing good. Ooh, I like that application. I was not going that direction. I love that. Approved doing good when the law said do nothing. Then Paul gives the principle of remanding us each are accountable to God. I was not, Pitt. Dude, that's so awesome. Let me give you this. Come on, play. Yeah. The principle of doing good when it is in your power to do good for someone. Boom. That totally fits with one way of viewing organ donations that I was not including and was not thinking about. It's in my power to do good, therefore I do good. Love that. Pitt, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Altus, judge but judge righteously. Also correct one another. Clash, iron sharpens iron. Yeah, we do need all of those. I think what is necessary, Altus, for those things to happen is you have to be in relationship with the person. So in order to correct someone, I have to have a relationship with you that allows me to do that. In order for iron to sharpen iron, I have to have a relationship with you that allows me to do that. I don't get to go show up to another community that I do not know everyone and tell them they're doing everything wrong. Even if they are doing everything wrong, I haven't earned the right in that community to say anything about it. And I won't be sharpening iron over there. I will be hacking and slashing. So, totally love your thought there. Yeah, that this totally is about those things. You do it in love. You do it together. You do it in relationship. You allow people to be in the struggle about things. I give God fist bumps in prayer. He gets it. I love that. I love that. Ukulele, this conversation reminds me of something you learned about food stamps when you worked at the grocery. Ooh. People would criticize food stamp recipients for buying like steaks, but they can afford PB&Js all month. Only when they get the stamps can they have steak. And they used that chance to have a birthday, Father's Day, or whatever. Oh, yes. Yes. Absolutely. I wasn't not on food stamps, but when my wife we were first married and my wife was pregnant, she was on WIC program, Women, Infants, and Children, which is designed to make sure that, and we were in college, low income families, that moms have all the care they need so that they have healthy babies, and then babies afterwards are healthy. So we would get formula and we would get cheese. I don't remember what else we got, but ours were very specific. This coupon is good for this one item. This coupon is good for this or this item. They were really specific. It wasn't just a blanket. You could buy whatever you wanted. It was, here are 5 cans of formula for the next month. It's like, oh yeah, we need that. We need that because formula was expensive. So, but yeah, totally. People will judge people when they have a chance to, when they don't know the circumstance. Altus, any correction must be out of love entirely. If your motive is anything except love for them, then you may not correct them. It was one of the first rules of the Sanhedrin. Totally agree. Oh, yeah. I'm watching. Steak is easier for stir fry than buying pre-sliced packets many times. True. Pitt, the other perspective of FD relates to wise stewardship with another's fundings. Oh, yeah. I certainly want to be a wise steward of what I have. I wish I was always wise. I often make really dumb decisions about things that in the time I'm not really accurate of assessing my motivation. It's one of those reasons why I try to at times before making a purchase of some time, I pause and I weigh things and I come back later to see, am I still feeling this? Do I have any buyer's remorse? Like, for instance, I just bought a new pressure washer because my old one, which I've had for over 10 years, I've had trouble getting it going. And it's like, do I go and pay for repairs on something that is a couple of years old that I'm certain I'm going to have to spend over $100 to get it running? Or do I just buy a new one? And I made the decision, I'm going to buy the new one. And then I waited 3 days to see if I still had that decision in my mind or if I was regretting that decision before I actually went and bought it. And And then after that, I had to weigh the decision of which model do I buy? How much should I spend? What's the value? And then I waited and made a decision a couple of days later before I went and bought it. So I've learned those things about myself. I didn't go to the store to look at it. I made the decision before going to do the purchase of weighing all of those things so that I could be a good steward. So totally love that thought too. That's why we can't judge. Yep. FS food stamps. Oh, perspective on foods. You meant food stamps. Yes, yes. True. Yeah, WIC is great too. Yeah, I really like. I've shared because a lot of people don't know all of the programs they might have access to. The other thing that was really rewarding for my wife and I is by the time we had our second kid, we did not need to apply for that program. That program helped us in the way it's intended to be a gap stop to get us through the next point in life where we don't need to. We were able to, because we had friends and family support outside of that, and we had good access to being able to move up in careers and get out of college and do those steps that everyone is striving towards. We had a good road to be able to make those things happen, and we're able to move out of it. It doesn't mean that anybody who has to have WIC for first, second, third, however many kids they have and have to remain in a program shouldn't. If you're not able to move up out of it, then you should. We should care for you. I'm going to go back to my mantra: the poor, the widow, the orphan, and the foreigner. Those are the four people that are represented all throughout the Old Testament that God repeatedly tells us that we are to care for: the poor, the widow, the orphan, and the foreigner. The orphan and the widow isn't exactly the same as WIC there, but if I'm not in a financial position as my family was not to do that, then it is caring for the mother and child. So we can still do that and should do that. Wow, this conversation has gone in many different directions today. Totally love everybody's input on this, where we're at. Any last thoughts? Any more passages to go look at? Like I said, I just wanted to talk about how do we care for our body as the temple. We really went more in that direction than fully on exercise. I think that we should, because it's an act of caring for my body, to do some exercise. How much? I don't know. They're like the 10,000 steps a day, good target to shoot for. Not everyone can do that. I choose to ride my bike as often, and I need to get back into that, by the way. I have been neglecting that because I did the 90-day challenge, and now, since the 90-day challenge ended 2 weeks ago, I haven't done exercise. I planned yesterday when I got home to go ride my bike before I made dinner, and then I got interrupted with, hey, I need to follow up on this. Hey, I can meet with you. Let's meet. Hey, all of a sudden, my window disappeared and I didn't ride my bike. That is what I'm letting happen recently. And I need to make exercise a priority again for now until reach. I need to make it a priority again. Okay, a couple of things before we go. We're talking about loving and supporting and caring for one another. Let me just update the page. We are, as a community, we passed the cap to care for others who have needs. Right now, Wordy Girl is a friend in need. She's been laid off from her job a couple of years ago, never able to replace that income with a new job, works as a cashier, works as a streamer, content creator, freelancer that doesn't always take care of all of her needs. And this month, she wasn't able to pay her rent. So she's in that quandary in that middle there. And so if you are able to, please give a gift to help out Wordy Girl. If you're not able to, please keep her in prayers so that she can take care of her housing for the month and be supported by the community. So if you're able to do that, you know what I noticed? I'm not following. Let me click a follow here. Oh, I'll have to log in. Won't do that now. I'll do that later. If you're able to do that, I would really appreciate that. If you're not able to, like I said, please pray for her. Mel, hey, welcome in. It's kind of sad. Your mom probably should have gotten some assistance. Instead, she worked 3 jobs. Yeah. And maybe when your mom was around, the programs weren't there that she would have qualified to have help, so that she wouldn't have had to do 3 jobs. But totally get that. Okay. Oh, that's what I was going to do. I did not put it up there. Let me find this. Okay. Let me add to the flyer here. Do. Come on. There we go. Okay. Do I have it here? Let me find it here. I thought I had. What is this? Yes. Okay. I know that's funny. You're like, what? But I just want to put up the pic alone. I put it on the slideshow now. Okay. And now it's going to be huge. Huge, I tell you. Okay. All right. So, finally going to get Ukulele for Worship on my podcast. I am super, super excited about this. So, next Thursday, when we finish my stream, and we'll probably finish up a little bit early. We won't go all the way to 10 because I have to shut down this stream. I have to upload the other, and then we'll connect. So, next week, Thursday, I will get Ukulele for Worship on the podcast, 10 to noon. We'll be chatting, hanging out, talking about digital ministry, how we got started on Twitch, how she got started, I should say, about Taco, about a lot of things. So please mark your calendars for that. Going to be hanging out with Ukulele for Worship on the podcast. So that is on The Church Digital, not on my channel. In case you've never been, don't know about my podcast, it's over on another channel. Yes, you also could do bits or subs. Yes. Absolutely, I'm watching. Oops, looks like ads came in. Oh, not bits and subs, please. Yeah, you don't get the full amount if you do that. Well, depending on where you take your coffee, giving and take it out, there still might be a transaction fee depending upon that. Coffee doesn't, but where you send it to. Oh, the birdie is here. Oh, and the bird is gone. The bird is a word. They were there, Mel, but culture said don't use them.
Plays tunes by his quiet land.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see as a welfare queen, yes. Yeah, I reread. I caught it. The babies are getting feathers. Oh, yeah. If they pop up, they've got nice, floofy feathers, yes. No, not the bird is a word song. I could fully go on it. There we go. The bird's scratching. I said the bird. Said the bird is a word. I said the bird. Said the bird is a word. I got a fish song playing and I'm singing about the bird.
Little fish, both big and small. Life in ponds so serene. Nature's beauty on a screen. See the
Mama bird camera shy. A little bit. I think she's busy working all the time to get
flat caps charm and calming tone.
Yeah.
Makes the fish feel right at home. Watch the fish, they swim along to the
Oh, there we go. Look at the bird flapping for you. Look at that.
Pastor shows the way.
I'm gonna clip that.
Stream it live, come what
There we go.
may.
All right. You should be back. Oops, wrong one. All right. Let me send you off with a blessing. I have to go because I have a meeting. May God's seeking comfort find you. May his loving arms bind you. May his might protect you. May his wisdom direct you. May the joyous love of Jesus Christ be with you and all those you know, both now and forevermore. Amen. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out today, What a great conversation. What a serious nature that we took talking about these things together. And the openness of having the dialogue. Super appreciate that. I knew it was going to be one of those subjects that could get hijacked with somebody who believed that they knew the one and only way to view those things. And I just want to give grace upon grace to those who view things differently than me. As I say often, I am convinced that 80% of what I believe is 100% correct. I just don't know which is the 80 and which is the 20. And I want to be open to you helping me to learn and grow. And I want to be open to helping you learn and grow. That is my goal in all things. All right, let's find someone to raid, and then we will pray. Who do I want to? Who do I want to? Where do I take this? Oh, we had Lexi Levels. That's right. There was a redeem. Thank you. I found her. We're going there. Thank you for reminding me. I just saw her and I went, oh, we had a redeem. So, start the raid. Okay. Someone can get 10:02 in the chat. God, we're praying for workers for the harvest. We are praying because there are many people who are lost and lonely in Twitch and online, and it can be a dark place where people are not bringing the light of Christ. So we're praying for more workers to bring the light of Christ, to be salt and light, to love our neighbors as we love ourselves, to love them as you love them. God, help us to do that. Raise up more workers. Those who are already doing that, may you bless them. May you multiply their work. May you give them all that they're in need of. Take care of their finances. Take care of their physical circumstances. And make them know that they're not alone, that others are with them. God, we thank you and we praise you. And we ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen. Let's go bless other people.
Flat cap on his head, he's streaming live. Reading from the book, the word so alive. A prayer in his heart that lifts the soul.
Hey, you're welcome, Papstio.
In the digital world where spirits roll. Hallelujah, from the screen we scream. Join the pastor in the holy dream. Spread